The House of David Season 3 trailer has dropped, and with it, the promise of war, betrayal, and the crowning of a king. If you thought Season 2 was perfect, just wait. This next chapter could change everything. The trailer opens not with celebration, but with uncertainty. David, now living with the weight of exile, stands surrounded by his closest soldiers. Their faces are grim, their posture weary, but their determination burns brighter than ever. We catch glimpses of his family being led away, a reminder that while he fights for a kingdom, his heart battles the fear for those he loves most. David's fugitive life is cruel and unpredictable, yet he's no longer alone. Battle-hardened men flock to his side, forming an army born out of loyalty, honor, and unshakable faith. Unlike before, this is not a ragtag group. This is a force built to last. Soon, the trailer dives deep into conflict. The drums of war grow louder. We hear whispers of Saul's madness, of treacherous plots, and even of sacrificial curses, echoing Samuel's last stand, which shattered any remaining hope for peace. Saul's grip on power is slipping. His mind fractures, and the brutality of his reign becomes more visible than ever. Bodies fall, alliances shift, and the priests in Nob pay a terrible price. The trailer doesn't sugarcoat it. Chaos reigns, and death follows close behind. But David is not just reacting. He's planning, praying, and preparing for the battle that could change everything. A powerful moment shows him consulting God through the ephod, as if asking, "Is this the right path?" It's a turning point. A reminder that David's journey is not only physical, but deeply spiritual. The ephod, once a lost relic, now becomes his compass, guiding him in moments of greatest danger. There are short flashes of David's more compassionate nature, too. In one hauntingly beautiful shot, he approaches Saul in hiding, stealthy and silent. Not to kill, but to show mercy. The trailer uses this moment to remind us that David is not a mere warrior, but a man of principle. He slices off a piece of Saul's robe, a symbolic act full of meaning. He could kill him, but he won't, because he respects what is sacred. That humility, that restraint, it's not weakness. If anything, it's his greatest strength. The stakes rise even higher. We see war clouds gathering on all fronts. There's a sense that David's people will be forced to flee. To Moab, to caves, to places far from home. The camera lingers on rugged terrain, desert sands, and caves lit only by flickering torches. There's also a brief but powerful glimpse of David's growing connection with the Philistines. He's forced to take refuge among them, but it's not just survival. He builds, he strategizes, and he lays claim to power, gaining Ziklag. There's an almost ironic beauty in being an enemy king in exile, a stranger in a strange land, ruling his own piece of territory. And then, tension explodes. We see war again, not just a skirmish, but full-blown conflict. The lines are drawn. David's forces clash with opposing armies, and it's not just a battle for survival, but a war for the throne. The trailer teases a turning point. Saul marches toward Mount Gilboa, and there's fear, but also resolve. It suggests the possibility of his fall, of an end to his reign. But even as Saul's power declines, a new threat emerges. Ishbosheth, Eshbal in your script, refuses to be sidelined. He gathers his own forces, setting the stage for a final war against David, a war that could last for years. Throughout it all, David's face holds a quiet intensity. He's no longer a youth running from his past. He's a man on the edge of destiny, fighting to become what he was always meant to be, king. The trailer never gives us easy answers, but it does show us promise. Promise of justice, of power, and of a legacy. It whispers, "This is the moment." As the trailer fades, we're left with more questions than solutions. Will David's mercy be his strength or his downfall? Can he trust those around him? And when the final battle comes, will he finally claim the crown or lose everything that matters most?
Season 3 pushes David into the most dangerous stage of his journey, and the trailer makes it clear that every step he takes will be tested by fire. After rescuing his family from Saul's wrath and taking them to Moab, David returns to the Adullam caves, a place that now feels less like a hiding spot and more like the headquarters of a rising leader. The caves are dark, narrow, and filled with whispers of fear, yet they're also alive with hope. David's army grows stronger inside those walls. These men aren't just warriors, they're believers, men who see in David a future king even before he wears a crown. The trailer hints at their loyalty, showing scenes of determination and sacrifice as they prepare to face the dangers ahead. But danger finds them first. The Philistines rise again, and David is forced into another battle. The trailer shows fast cuts of blades clashing and the roar of combat echoing through rocky terrain. It's gritty, chaotic, and cruel. David fights not as a fugitive, but as a commander, precise, bold, and undeniably powerful. It becomes clear that his leadership is no accident. Victory follows him, even in exile. Yet this victory comes at a cost. For the moment the battle ends, Saul once again marches toward the caves, consumed by rage, jealousy, and fear. The trailer paints Saul not as a king in control, but as a man spiraling deeper into darkness. His soldiers follow him because they fear him, not because they trust him. David faces an impossible decision: fight the king he once loved, or flee once more. The trailer shows him seeking God's guidance through the ephod, the ancient tool that connects him to divine wisdom. The tension is palpable as he waits for God's answer, and when it comes, it shakes everything. God tells him to flee. This moment isn't portrayed as weakness, but as protection. Divine timing, leading him toward a destiny far greater than the caves of Adullam could ever offer. From here, the journey becomes even more dangerous. David and his men escape to the En-Gedi caves, a place that offers safety, but only for a moment. Saul follows them relentlessly, driven by a hatred that blinds him to truth, loyalty, and even God. In one of the most suspenseful sequences of the trailer, Saul enters the very cave where David hides. The silence is suffocating. David stands behind him, sword in hand, and the audience is left wondering how this encounter will end. But instead of killing Saul, David cuts a piece of his garment, a gesture that speaks louder than any blade. It's a message. I could have ended you, but I didn't. Saul's reaction in the trailer is a powerful mix of shock, humility, and broken pride. For a brief moment, the madness fades, and he retreats. Yet peace is short-lived. The trailer quickly shifts to David's journey through the wilderness of Paran, where he meets Abigail, the woman whose wisdom and courage capture his heart. There's a quiet strength in her scenes, a calm in the chaos, suggesting she will play a crucial role in David's rise. Their marriage marks a new chapter, one filled with stability and partnership, even as war tightens its grip on the kingdom. But Saul is not done. The tension rises again as David heads toward the desert of Ziph, only to face Saul's army once more. For the second time, David chooses mercy over violence. The trailer shows another moment of restraint, where David spares Saul's life and takes his spear instead. It's symbolic. David refuses to kill the king, but he is slowly taking everything that makes Saul one. The story intensifies as David turns east and seeks refuge with the Philistines. This twist is surprising, almost shocking. The man who killed Goliath stands before the Philistine king, not as an enemy, but as a warrior without a home. The trailer shows the king of Gath welcoming David and granting him the city of Ziklag. This is a major turning point. Ziklag becomes David's new stronghold, a base where he regains strength, wins battles, and rises to new levels of power. The trailer shows David leading victorious campaigns against the southern kingdoms. His reputation spreads. His name carries weight. Yet the biggest war still looms ahead, a massive conflict between the Philistines and Saul. David wants to join, but the Philistine king refuses. The rejection forces David to stand on the sidelines as history unfolds without him. And all signs point to Mount Gilboa, the place where Saul's fate awaits. The trailer doesn't show Saul's death outright, but the heavy shadows, terrified soldiers, and desperate cries make it clear. The end is coming, and the kingdom will soon fall into chaos. But as Saul's chapter closes, another battle begins. Ishbosheth rises to challenge David for the throne. The trailer makes it clear that these 2 years of civil war will be brutal, heartbreaking, and filled with betrayal. The throne of Israel is within reach, but David must fight harder than ever before to claim it. Season 3 takes us straight into the heart of one of the most tragic and powerful turning points in David's story, the downfall of King Saul. The trailer builds this tension slowly, showing Saul's unraveling mind as he faces the consequences of every decision he once made out of jealousy, anger, and fear. His kingdom is collapsing from within, alliances crumble around him, and even his most loyal soldiers can be seen questioning their path. The curse Samuel called down in Season 2 echoes like a haunting reminder, and the trailer hints that it now tightens around Saul like an unbreakable chain. His madness deepens. His once glorious power fades, and the Philistines see this weakness as the perfect opportunity to strike. As the Philistine army rises with terrifying force, the trailer shows flashes of war preparations on both sides. The Israelites appear scattered, exhausted, and afraid, while the Philistines march in unity, their confidence growing with every step toward the battlefield. Gilboa becomes more than a location. It becomes the stage for a king's final reckoning. We see glimpses of Saul walking alone at times, his armor heavy, his eyes empty, as though he already senses the end approaching. The once mighty king stands shaken, caught between prophecy and reality, and the trailer makes it clear that this battle will define the future of Israel. David's absence from this war is just as significant as the war itself. Forced to remain behind by the Philistine king, David can only watch events unfold from a distance. The trailer captures his frustration, his helplessness, and his understanding that the kingdom he loves is falling apart without him. It's a powerful contrast. Saul, the king appointed by God, stands on the battlefield facing destruction, while David, the king chosen by God, is kept away from the battlefield that will change everything. The tension is unbearable, and the audience is left wondering how fate will bring these two storylines together at last. When the battle finally begins, the trailer doesn't show every detail, but the tone shifts dramatically. The ground shakes, the skies darken, warriors shout, arrows fly, and chaos erupts in every direction. There are quick flashes of Saul fighting, struggling, and pushing against the inevitable. The Israelite soldiers fall one after another, retreating, stumbling, crying out for help that doesn't come. The Philistines push forward with overwhelming strength, and we realize that this is not just another battle. It's the end of an era. Then comes the moment the trailer builds toward, Saul's final stand. We don't see the full scene, but the symbolism is unmistakable. The king faces death on Mount Gilboa, his sons lost, his army destroyed. The trailer lingers on the weight of this moment, not to glorify it, but to mark it as a turning point in the story. Saul's fall is tragic, heartbreaking, and yet completely inevitable. The prophecy spoken long ago has finally come to pass. The kingdom of Israel is without a king, and the throne is now open, waiting for the one chosen to fill it. But the story doesn't slow down. In fact, it becomes even more chaotic. With Saul gone, Israel plunges into turmoil. Instead of accepting David immediately as king, the kingdom divides. The trailer shows Ishbosheth rising, backed by powerful and dangerous allies who refuse to allow David to take the throne without a fight. The tension between the two camps is sharp and bitter. This is not a small argument, it is a full-blown civil war, and the trailer makes it clear that neither side will give up easily. David, now strengthened by his victories, his new city of Ziklag, and his growing army, stands ready. He no longer looks like the young shepherd boy who defeated Goliath. He no longer looks like the fugitive running for his life. He stands tall, determined, and powerful. A man prepared to claim what destiny has always held for him. Yet the path ahead is drenched in conflict. The trailer hints at ambushes, political schemes, night raids, and betrayals that shake even the closest relationships. Brothers fight brothers, families divide, the entire land trembles. Through all this, David continues to show the qualities that set him apart: humility, patience, and understanding. He refuses to take the throne by unjust means. He refuses to kill those who oppose him without cause. He refuses to let anger guide his decisions. These moments of restraint stand out in the trailer, making it clear why David is destined to be a different kind of king, the kind whose reign will be remembered for generations. As the trailer nears its climax, one message becomes clear. The war between David and Ishbosheth will be fierce, long, and filled with heartbreak. The rise of David will not come easily, but every struggle, every battle, every sacrifice pushes him closer to the moment Israel has been waiting for, the coronation of a true king. Season 3's trailer makes one thing painfully clear. Even with Saul gone, David's path to kingship will not be easy. In fact, this is where the true struggle begins. The kingdom of Israel splits in two, and what should have been a moment of unity turns into a brutal, drawn-out war. The trailer shows quick flashes of rising tension, angry councils, armies gathering at dawn, secret whispers in dimly lit tents, and the bitter faces of men who refuse to accept David as their ruler. Ishbosheth, manipulated by ruthless advisors, positions himself as king, and from that moment on, the entire land becomes a battlefield. We see the stark contrast between the two leaders. Ishbosheth is shown surrounded by shadows, looking uncertain, fragile, and constantly guided by the whispers of powerful men who seek control. His rule feels forced and shaky, and the trailer emphasizes his reliance on scheming allies rather than genuine loyalty. Every scene around him carries this feeling of tension, as if even his own people doubt he belongs on the throne. Yet despite his weaknesses, Ishbosheth becomes the obstacle standing between David and the crown, and he clings to that position with everything he has. David, on the other hand, appears stronger than ever. The trailer shows him establishing his rule in Hebron, surrounded by warriors whose trust in him is unshakable. His camp is filled with unity, purpose, and determination. This is not the fearful leader hiding in caves anymore. This is a rising king shaping a nation. We see scenes of David strategizing, praying, and speaking to his commanders with calm authority. Even in the midst of war, his sense of justice remains firm. He refuses to strike without reason, refuses to shed unnecessary blood, and refuses to rush into power by force. His restraint and wisdom grow more impressive with each scene, painting a clear picture of the kind of leader he is becoming, but peace is nowhere in sight. The trailer shifts rapidly between violent confrontations, soldiers clashing in the wilderness, ambushes by moonlight, and desperate battles where the lines between victory and loss blur. This war lasts for 2 long years, and every moment feels tense and unpredictable. Brothers who once stood together are now forced to draw swords against each other. Villages are torn apart, loyalties crumble, and families face impossible choices. The trailer amplifies this heartbreak, showing glimpses of warriors falling, mothers crying, and commanders grappling with the cost of every decision. This conflict is not just political, it is deeply personal. One chilling moment in the trailer hints at a major turning point. Assassinations and betrayals brewing within Ishbosheth's own camp. His allies, once loud and eager, start plotting behind his back. The tension in their eyes reveals everything. Their loyalty is nothing more than convenience. They want power, and Ishbosheth is merely a pawn in their hands. The trailer shows a brief but powerful shot of Ishbosheth realizing this truth. The betrayal written on his face is enough to tell viewers that his end may come not from David's hand, but from those closest to him. This twist adds a layer of political intrigue that makes the conflict even more gripping. Meanwhile, David continues to rise. His victories multiply. His influence spreads. His reputation reaches every corner of Israel. Even those who once opposed him begin to whisper his name with respect. The trailer shows scenes of elders approaching him, soldiers kneeling before him, and families watching him with hope in their eyes. Slowly, the idea of David as king shifts from possibility to destiny. We can feel the momentum building. The land itself seems to be turning in his favor. But destiny never comes without sacrifice. The trailer hints at painful moments, decisions David must make that weigh heavily on his heart. There's a quiet scene where he reflects alone, a reminder that even the strongest leader carries the burden of every life lost in war. It's a subtle yet powerful moment, showing viewers that David's rise is not just about gaining power, but about bearing the cost of leadership. As the 2-year war nears its final chapter, the trailer intensifies. Ishbosheth's kingdom crumbles, his alliances collapse, and the tension reaches a breaking point. With every frame, we feel the story pushing toward a monumental ending. The throne is almost within reach. The war is almost over. And the moment David has been destined for since he was a boy is just on the horizon.